All right, so the first thing is note taker. There's only two of us, so we'll just we'll pair on it.
Yeah.
Not sure that they'll,
Send a link to the doc one.
you don't have it. Let me give it to you. There you go.
Thanks.
All right, the first thing, status updates. From my part, there isn't really much. I know that there's been some discussion about the contributors guide being in the communities page. We do have a volunteer for some of that, so I'll be assisting as best as I can. And you know, if there's anything needed there, I'll try to jump in. That's pretty much it for me. I've been focused on other things. What about you, Sam? Anything?
I was off last week, so didn't have much to do. I've been like trying to write some documentation internally for Buildpacks, and I mean, I think we can discuss that later, if you want to. But I have some like maybe useful points on how like we could possibly organize the upstream docs to make it easy for like first time users. Um, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'd be interesting to hear how your docs differ from, I guess, what we have, right? Because I think that'd be a nice
They're like, yeah, it's mostly like a succinct version of it with more images.
love it. Cool. I'm not sure we'll have a lot of user research if we're moving on to the next item going forward. So I do wonder if we should just kind of take it off the agenda. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, yeah, I guess if we are not doing this regularly, we could. I know that I think last time Natalie had some wanted to create a service desk ticket about like figuring out like any data policies that CNCF has for conducting more user research surveys. I don't know if we should follow up on that or whether
Yeah, I could definitely follow up on that specifically. But
but
more broadly, do you think it's worth touching bases on it every single meeting?
yeah, I if there's no active research going on, I think it's fine to take it off.
Cool. I agree. And we could re-add it if stuff gets added. Cool. All right. Next on to stale issues. Oh no, we have too many of them.
Oh, I think we should also update like the date there, uh, but it's the same anyways. Uh,
Oh yeah, the starting date.
yeah, uh, add not so similar tools to feature comparison list. I think we recently did that with Dockerfile, right? Like all the things I see there, like Docker, Builder, Canonical. At least the first three do take in Docker files as inputs. Um,
Yeah,
so
but sorry, go ahead.
I think at least those three we can maybe mark off as done. I don't know about Maki, so I've not heard of it.
Yeah. So I know Builda and Conoco, maybe Conoco less than Builda, but like Builda, it has the CLI component where they do it that way. And I know that that's actually come up specifically on its own. Um, so I personally feel inclined to have something more directed towards Builda itself. Um,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I don't have the bandwidth to do it myself.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There any difference you imagine like from Builder versus like I although it has a CLI component, I think at the end what you can do with it is
the same. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's why for me, like it maybe wasn't like a comparison chart. It was more like a paragraph, right? That described like Builda doesn't necessarily compare to Buildpacks because its paradigm is different, right? And essentially what I was going to do for Docker even was the same thing, right? It's like Docker itself doesn't necessarily compare with Buildpacks because it's a different paradigm, right? And I think that's where now that we've added it to the comparison list, it's a little bit awkward. But what I had originally envisioned was like the things that do compare were already up there, and then everything else is going to be like a separate, again, section, right? That says, these are all the Docker downsides, or more verbally described comparison as opposed to a checklist. And I think because of that, then Builda and Conical kind of fell into that same thing. I do wonder if a better approach may be to create a blog post for each one of these.
Yeah.
Instead of like bloating our features page, right? Saying like alternatives and then linking to, Conoco versus Buildpacks as a blog post, or Builda versus, Buildpacks as a blog post. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I mean, there are so many tools out there. I think a blog post is a valid thing. Maybe we can, I don't know if we do we have like some sort of a publication somewhere like for build packs where we can tag things like build pack comparisons, and you just click on that tag and it has like a series of blog posts that like
Does
even if
um, does Medium not let you do that?
it does let, I think it lets you do that. You can create like a publication specific to a topic. So we could create like a build pack comparison publication or something. I don't know if it can tag things. Maybe it can.
Yeah, so yeah, you could tag things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
If you click on that, what happens? Oh yeah. So maybe we can just do it that way. So we can just add blog posts here and then tag them with a specific tag. And then if we add something more to the future, we can just, here's a link to all the other things we've compared build packs against.
Implementation. Comparing to and blog posts. Shit, not like that. What Docker? Sure. What does that make sense? Okay. Anything else we want to do on this? I'm gonna go ahead and uncheck these.
Yes.
And then you know what? I believe Joe already did a Docker one, right?
Yeah. I mean, sort of. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, next one, create a page to list suggested builders.
This. What does it mean, like page? Is it like the registry page?
So I think in its most basic form, the ask is, oh, this thing no longer works. But like there's a certain number of places where we had to manually list all the builders that you could enter. Tecton, Circle CI, stuff like that, where a builder is a keyword or sorry, a parameter, right? And then you want to say like, these are the ones that you can use there, because that might be the intro, like sorry, the entry point for these users. And so they don't know what kind of, value they could enter there. So you suggested builders list is kind of necessary. And the ask of this is just having a single place where we could have this. And now, like consider having a central catalog. This is kind of what has turned into the registry.
Yeah.
But I know that it's custom, but have they actually created something for it?
Yeah, in the registry API, there's a issue for listing builders or adding builders. I think I pointed it out to. So Aussie's manager was asking about this on Monday. I think on the Buildpacks general chat. I don't remember his name. But he was asking like, are there any plans to add like have a central place to list builders and stacks so that they can add their own like Red Hat specific ones, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think I just pointed him to the issue.
I
think it's this one.
It's at 56, right?
Yeah. I think you should probably have something similar for stacks. I think it only mentions builders.
I think here it says stacks, but are you saying a different issue
Yeah.
on the API?
Yeah.
Yeah, including such stacks.
Okay.
Did I already? No. Add my heart back in. All right. Well, so maybe we could push this. Where's Joe? Jay Cutler. Cool. So added a little bit of fire to it. I would say in that case, like we should probably block this on the registry doing it. Do you agree?
Yep.
And then we could just put all our efforts in that other arena.
It also remove the good first tag or no?
Yeah, it's not that good anymore. Cool, I think that was 2. Let's go.
Oh, we added this.
Yep, this is done, right?
Yep.
APAC, yeah. we're getting stuff done.
Consumers to homepage. What does that mean?
This should be adopters.
Okay.
So like, yeah, this needs to be updated. Community. I want to roadmap. You can tell I visit that quite a lot. All right, so this is done.
What's proposed design?
Basically what it's gonna look like.
Okay. Do we want to recreate the CNCF landscape?
Oh no, hell no. That thing is crazy. No, I'm definitely thinking more like from a product perspective, right? Like when you see all these like faded little logos and stuff at the bottom, as like a maybe footer or something like that. Okay. So I think this one is still ongoing. I do wonder if we can find like projects that similar to the Linux Foundation and stuff like that. I believe we've talked about in the past that there's probably some designer based programs.
Yeah, outreachy.
Yeah. Although the information I found at Outreachy was very minimal. It didn't seem like the CNCF or Linux Foundation really put a lot of emphasis on it. I don't know.
I do know it gets like 40 or something interns every year. I may be wrong on that number, but I know a lot of people in design use that as an avenue to contribute to open source. Like I personally know at least 2, 3 people who gone through that way, but apart from that, I don't really know of any other design specific open source like internship program or something like that.
CNCF, mentoring. I think they have Outreachy on here.
I think
See, like this is all I remember seeing, and I'm like, okay, that tells me nothing on how to apply or anything like that.
well, it looks like they had an intern in 2021, right?
Cool. So I guess we'll leave this one. Doesn't seem like there's much action there quite yet.
Last one I think is the migration guide, which I don't think we need it at this point.
Do we have to run an audit from Buildpack 02? Like,
yeah, maybe we can check the registry. I don't know if it exposes the API versions.
yeah. How about this? I'll do a quick audit. Cool. So I send it to myself. I'll take care of that. That should be fairly easy with a little bit of scripting if necessary. All right. So now that all the actual work is done, we can go back to other topics on the agenda. Oh no, we still have a lot of stuff to do.
This PR is a thing which is just, I think it's just shows PR for inline build packs.
Yeah, and it's still blocked. So I'm gonna add the blocked status. Cool, that's done. Unlabeled issues, we don't have any. Phew. That'll work. Okay, so general topics, there's a meta one that I wanted to bring up, which has to do with scheduling. I know in other meetings or sub teams, the discussion has been floating around about the frequency of these meetings, the sub team syncs, and primarily the idea that it seems like based on some of the either attendance or things that need to happen, it would probably be more beneficial if instead of weekly, we did them bi-weekly. And I think what that would also entail as a net positive is that maybe we could have oscillating syncs or time slots. So to elaborate on that, it's basically like, let's say Tuesday, right now this hour can be used up by two different sub teams, right? So we could oscillate between the learning sub team and some other sub team that may come up. And yeah, so overall we could just kind of take advantage as much time as possible, but also be as optimized with our time.
I agree. I mean, given the number of meetings and the additional meetings that are being proposed,
Yeah.
I think at least for the sub team ones, for learning, I think bi-weekly should be good.
Cool. So thumbs up, it works. All right, so I think the action item here is on my part. I was already going to recommend or suggest what this looks like. I'll probably, it seems like what we're doing is creating PRs against the community repo with like the suggested changes. And then we can kind of have the discussion there once we see it. Cool. All right. The next item is just wanted to follow up on embedded Katacoda. I know that that's something that would alleviate a little bit of the maintenance burden of the tutorials. Do you recall what the status of that was?
So I was supposed to bring it up in the leadership thing for someone to create the service desk ticket because I don't have access to do that yet. But the last
Okay.
one I did was canceled and I was away last week, so still haven't done that.
Okay. So I guess the task is that we want to create a service desk ticket because we believe that the CNCF already has some sort of tie with it. Is that right?
Possibly we should inquire because like there are a bunch of tutorials on Katacoda, like Kubernetes, for example, has that. So we can ask if there's some like, experience or common account that they have that they can share with us.
Cool. Okay. I know I have access to Service Desk, but at the same time, I do feel like it would be valuable for everybody on the maintainers list to have access to it. So I don't want to take it from you if you want to be the one that creates the ticket.
I'm basically waiting for someone to get me access to it. So once I have that, I'll probably bring it up in the next leadership meeting and then I can create the ticket.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I saw Steven said that yeah, he was working on access and I believe the request was made. So I don't know if you want to follow up with him.
I asked him yesterday about something. He was, I think, uh, it it was adding me to the maintainers list. So I think that maybe the first step. I don't know how this works. So.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, cool. So it seems like we're working on that.
So,
Cool. All right. I guess, is there anything else we want to discuss in this forum?
not really.
Cool, then I guess we are done with the meeting, and I believe it was right on time. Cool. All right. Talk to you later, son.